boys.
Got open man. DJ Moore. End zone. Touchdown. Touchdown Bears.
I am Jeff Joniak.
Blitz is on. Down he goes. Brisker.
What was it like playing for Coach Ditka?
I don't want to answer any questions like that.
Pressure coming. He's in big trouble. Down he goes. Montez Sweat.
Now, Bears Etc. brought to you by Chevy Drives Chicago, the official truck partner of your Chicago Bears.
It's a new season. It's the postseason where anything and everything is possible. With Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. We discussed today at episode 201 of the Bears Etc. podcast. And this episode of Bears Etc. is brought to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com, the official truck of your Chicago Bears. Coming up, our weekly conversation with Bears head coach Ben Johnson. Tommy, good to see you. Bears enter Wild Card Weekend. Has a nice ring to it. Saturday, 7 o'clock at Soldier Field against the Green Bay Packers. For a third time in 6 weeks, you get the 32 teams shrink to 14, with 12 playing this weekend. Seattle and Denver earning the number 1 seeds and first-round byes. The next best thing you can do is the number 2 seed in each of your conferences, and you're guaranteed of at least 2 home games if you advance. So however it all turned out with an 11-6 record and how they went about doing it, the Bears check those boxes, and they're going to entertain the home crowd on Saturday night.
Yeah, when you go out to the practice field this week, it'll be the second most exciting practice of the year. The first most exciting practice is the practice you go out to start the regular season. And it's all the guys in the locker room that have this sense of accomplishment that they've been able to, up until that point, earn a spot on the roster. Now you start getting game checks, and you got the regular season. Second most exciting practice in the NFL is the first practice of playoff season, because now you're sitting there, the conversation is, look, we're one of 7 teams in the NFC that's lucky enough to walk onto the practice field today, and it means more than what you've been able to accomplish during the regular season. And then the third most exciting practice in the history of the NFL is first day of Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
So right now they're on level 2 of the most exciting practices that come along in the NFL season, and I can't wait for them to get started.
Bears beat the Packers in the 1941 to advance to the NFL championship. That was the first playoff game. Then ultimately the Bears won that game against the New York Giants. And there's a story, about Lovie Smith talking to the team. He presented the game ball from the 1941 game of the team to emphasize the importance, the urgency, the history, and the rarity of a Bears-Packer playoff game. And then we certainly know what happened in January of 2011 for the NFC Championship game. And then this is it. So 1 of 3, and the first Bears playoff appearance since the wild card loss in 2020 at New Orleans. First home playoff game since 2018. So it hasn't happened much, so you can understand the excitement from the fans. Hopefully the excitement will carry on to the green grass on Saturday night at 7 o'clock.
And I'm really excited about the guy that's steering the ship, and that's Ben Johnson. When I look at the history of this rivalry, and I don't want to get ahead of your interview with Ben Johnson, but the first thing he talks about is the immediate rivalry understanding and what it means in the history of the NFL, what it means in this relationship of 2 close proximity teams. And so I just think when you look at what's about to take place next Saturday night in Soldier Field, it's going to be hard to sleep the night before the game, whether you're a fan, a broadcaster, or a player. That's just going to be part of the emotions that go along with it.
Tom, I think you would agree. Unfortunately, I was not big enough, fast enough, or good enough to play football. Certainly not at the NFL level, so the adrenaline rush that you must have felt as a playoff player many, many times in your career, as a broadcaster, there's nothing that matches it. Like you said, I have a rough time sleeping the night before. We'll be getting there awful early on Saturday night, and I just soak in these moments because, much like a player, you don't know if you're coming back, for a playoff game. So I'm going to soak in this and any other future playoff games that we will be fortunate enough to call together, because you feel every single snap in the game. You just do. It's this urgency that is not like a regular season. You like to say it is, but the reality is it isn't. And I think Ben, is enough experience in playoff games to understand that and convey that to his team.
You know, for a guy that works as hard as you do, that puts as many hours.
We all
a week
work
that
hard.
No, listen to me. I have experience at this. For someone that puts in a lot of hours, I wish that I knew the total amount of hours that you put in from the very beginning of OTAs to the first practice of the playoffs, because you don't get that opportunity very often. And then you're kind of reaping the benefits of all the hard work that you put in by having the opportunity to show up at a playoff game Saturday night. And you think about all those other guys that aren't going to the stadium Saturday night or Sunday or Monday night to broadcast a playoff football game. And here we are, both lucky enough to have the experiences before, but being excited about this kind of unique experience. And even it caught Ben off guard when you told him that this was the third time that these two historic franchises played in the playoffs. And I think anybody that ever hears that, no matter how long that they think they've been a fan, they don't realize that.
This podcast brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer partner of your Chicago Bears. Tastes like Miller Time, Chicago. Go to MillerLite.com/BearsPod to find delivery options near you. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. So without further ado, Tom's been teasing it. Here's our interview this week with head coach Ben Johnson. All right, Ben, thanks again. Before we talk about yesterday a little bit, this is the 213th meeting in this rivalry, only the third postseason clash. It holds so much significance in this league, obviously.
You say only the third?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't think of a better matchup in football in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's exciting. I've loved being part of this rivalry this year. I think that there's a little bit of aura that comes with it, whether you're playing at Lambeau or playing at Soldier. And I'm really excited to have a home game in front of our crowd here for the playoffs. I think it's going to be outstanding.
Is there a better adrenaline rush than coaching in a game in the playoffs?
Well, yeah. No. I try to stay as steady Eddie as you can. But I do think there's a special feeling that comes with the national anthem and kind of soaking it all in at that point. But no, once the ball's kicked off, you got to be locked in and you got to be ready to go. And I know our guys will be, but I do want them to soak it in there and just really appreciate the magnitude of it.
Yeah, emotions were pretty high in the game a couple weeks ago at Soldier Field. Do you have to remind your guys to, for penalties or anything crazy, because it got a little chippy there, as you might expect?
Yeah, we had too many of the 15-yard penalties. That's something we talked about after the game, and I think we've been better. But, yeah, we'll remind them of that. We always want to toe that line, and I actually like it when we play with emotion like that. Yeah. But at the same time, we can't hurt the team, and they know that, and I think we'll be better for it.
In terms of the rookie production throughout the season, we've talked about it. It's been impressive. Interestingly, in all my years, I never heard one question, one conversation about the rookie wall. It never brought up. No media asked about it. Was anything done behind the scenes, said behind the scenes about that? Have you ever believed in that?
No, I haven't, but I do think that rookie year is a long one. They go immediately from their college season into training for the combine, and then the combine process, and then getting drafted, and then the rookies, in the springtime, they have different rules in terms of how long they're allowed to be in the building and how much we can meet with them. And we like to take advantage of that to catch them up. And so it ends up being a long stretch for them. And so you can see where there could be a rookie wall for some guys, but I certainly haven't felt that for our crew. These guys, if anything, they've gotten stronger the longer the season's gone. You kind of said it weeks ago about Ozzie. It kind of, he got his legs under him. He got some confidence going, and you could feel him come to life even more. And you say the same thing about Colston, who just keeps getting better each week, and Luther, who, he shows up every Sunday and makes big plays for us, and Kyle's been that way throughout the season as well.
Yeah, Colston, since week 9, leading all receivers, a tight end position, and just about everything. Are they just hitting a key apex right now, those two cats.
Yeah.
Burden and Colston.
Yeah. I think there's a high level of trust. They're very diligent in terms of how they go about their business, whether it's the mental process or out on the practice field. And so, we love where they're at right now, and they're gonna play a big part of the rest of the season here, and certainly going forward.
What'd you think about Caleb wearing your high school jersey?
Yeah,
wasn't that funny? How the heck did he find that one?
I have no idea. I have no idea how he got his hands on that.
I mean, the internet is amazing. I guess you can order it on Amazon and it'll be at your door. Proud of that uniform.
Yeah, well, a lot of good memories came from that one. State championship, and we won a lot of games there. So, only thing I don't like is the colors now.
Yeah,
the green and the gold.
Yeah,
it's just,
interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that, but I didn't notice what the color meant. I don't know how you're going to take this question. This is my observation only. You hate losing maybe more than you love winning. What do you think about that statement?
What makes you think that? Huh?
Because you wear it and you can't hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a compliment. It's not a negative.
That's not going to go away. Can't help it. And losing hurts, and certainly when there are games that you think that your crew can play better and you can pull out the victory. And so, and where you feel like you can do a better job as a coach also. So, you wear it pretty heavy, and, it's a lot of sleepless nights, and, it kind of re-energizes you to keep digging a little bit deeper for the next time.
That's what I was going to ask you, is the salve getting the next game underway, the planning for the next game, the getting them back on the grass. Is that the salve that heals the wound?
Yeah. I think there's I hate to say it this way, but there's a little natural healing time too that needs to take place, to where you lick your wounds a little bit and you learn from what's gone on. But I think the quicker you can turn the page and focus on the next deal, that it's a little bit more fuel for the fire.
I think I asked you this, or Tom and I asked you in our post-game interview, but I think 59 snaps combined in the last 3 first halves offensively. How does that impact what comes off the sheet, how you get in a rhythm, all that business? I know it's been a great second-half team, but is that compromising in any way? Yeah,
well, I think it comes down to I think we've only had about 3 possessions each first half there. Usually one of which has been a 2-minute, series, which we haven't capitalized on. We haven't been really good since the bye week in that regard. So, it does. It gets a little bit frustrating because you can't get in a rhythm. And I feel like when our guys are in a little bit of a flow, we're pretty hard to stop. And it's been one of those things. It's been a little bit more challenging to get going as an O. And we had a chance a few weeks ago, against Green Bay. We marched it down the field, but we didn't come away with points. And I think that's the biggest thing, is when you're looking up and you're seeing the other team score either field goals or touchdowns, and you still got that goose egg that just doesn't sit right.
Do you have a sense how each meeting with a rival and a team you face and know might turn out based on whatever circumstances? Players not there, the bigger the moment, or, are you just waiting to ball up your fists and fight whatever kind of game it's going to be?
Yeah, you're prepared to go whatever direction you need to, but at the same time, you kind of go all week and you try to frame it a certain way. And hey, if we had our druthers, we'd have it go this way, and doesn't always work out that way. You got to adjust. You got to do those sorts of things. But certainly the weather plays a factor. Who they have available plays a factor. And that's what makes it so much fun on game day is being able to go with the twists and the turns.
You mentioned that you and Caleb had the same mentality towards the game.
Yep.
Have you spoke to him today, and is he wearing this like you're wearing this right now?
Yeah. He's disappointed, and it's one of those that hey, what exactly happened? Where can we do better? And I take it's a number of things. It's a couple play calls I'd like to have back, a couple plays he'd like to have back, a couple mentals that show up on the O-line, a couple mentals from the receiver position. When you look at it, and like you said, we're not having a whole lot of snaps there in the first half, and it's darn near every other play. It's like, well, shoot, man, we're so close, and yet it's not good enough yet. And so that's where it takes all of us to go ahead and put our big boy britches on and get a little bit better here this week. And if we're just committed to that, I think we're gonna see what we want to see.
Jordan Love, Caleb Williams. These guys are going to be rivals for a long time. Is this the first of a Brady Mahomes, whatever great quarterback battles take place in the years to come?
It could be, yeah. A lot of respect for Jordan Love. He's had a heck of a season. Really dangerous, and they got a really good set of weapons for him too. That those guys can fly around, and they were a tough cover for us, last couple times we played them. So we're going to have to be on it to try to slow him down. And, I'm really happy with where Caleb has gone all season long. He's continued to get better. And I'm excited to see him compete here in the postseason.
Do you feel they are blitzing more without Micah?
I don't know. I don't know about that necessarily. They're they are trying to find some ways to get to the quarterback, though, and it's just not quite the same as what it was before. So things have changed a little bit for them. And so I think we're going to have a good, sound game plan, allow our guys to play fast. And like I said, we'll clean up some of these mental mistakes that we had from last week, and I think we'll have some fun.
Grateful that you're in that 2 seed for home field?
Oh, yeah, no question about it. This was a dream of mine. First time I set foot at Soldier after I took this job was to get a home playoff game in front of this crowd, and so wasn't sure when that would happen, but year one, I'm fired up.
Last question: did you happen to write a bunch of stuff on a piece of paper about your first year, what you wanted it to be, you personally, that maybe you didn't share?
No, I haven't done anything quite like that. I'm not a big note taker in that regard, but
you just know what you want.
Yeah. We wanted to show improvement over the course of the season, and that's what we've done. Hard to put a win total on it, but yeah, there's certainly things that I want to do personally that, in terms of my growth as a head coach, and I want to see the offense get better. I want to see the defense get better. I want to see the team really gel, and I'm proud of how close knit this group has really become. These guys they're all rooting for each other. They desperately want to win as a team, and there's not a better feeling right now than being in that locker room after a victory.
Good luck. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I was a little nervous to ask him the question about, do you hate losing more than you love winning? And he dropped his head and smirked, but he gave a good answer because you really can feel it, man. He really can't hide it. It's just who he is, and he says he's not going to change, and I love it. Again, it's a cliche, but we've heard it many times in sports. If winning matters, losing hurts.
Look, I don't want him to hide it.
Yeah.
I want him to be the Ben Johnson that he is, and that's what I've grown to appreciate about him. And, when I listened to this interview that you did with Ben today, I listened first a couple things. Steady playoff demeanor, because it's something that the coaches have to have it as much as the players have to be in control of their on-field emotions. He talked about a couple of 15-yarders that he didn't want to have happen again because almost you can't afford it. The emotional control, the rookie production, the Burden, Colston, Monungai, their production. And then you talked about the hate losing more than you do winning. And I think it was a great question because when you listen to Ben through your interview, you can almost see his expressions. I mean, obviously you can't, but you can feel his expressions as he's getting ready to answer the question. And so, listen, man, I really enjoyed this interview because I know I saw how he was when he was leaving the stadium last night and meeting the media and everything, and it's a whole new day.
Yeah, it is a whole new day, and on top of it, he's the play caller offensively.
Yep.
So, and that adds a different layer because you are going to go home and you're going to think about, yes, you're going to think about certain plays in the game, offense or defense, as the head coach. But then you drop it down into just one box and you look at the offense, and if he doesn't like a way a play went because of how he called it or the manner in which it was executed, those things keep you up at night, like, giving up a sack kept you up at night.
I still remember them, and
Yeah.
it's like an architect of a major skyscraper, and that's Ben is the architect of this offense. So he's built, developed, and teaches this offense and how these plays are gonna work, and what the offensive line means to their contribution of the play, how the receivers, how the running backs, how the quarterbacks. So, he knows every detail of every single offensive play. And if you're in the luxury of being in the same offense for a long time throughout your career, the players will learn the same. But we always say no one knows it as well as Ben.
Yeah. And, I rather have that and how he presents his honesty and transparency than making sound everything's great at all the time, right? Because it's not. The reality of this sport is you get knocked down, you either get back up or you don't come back. And it's play to play, it's week to week, it's day to day, week to week, year to year. And so there's a reality to it all, and he is, wow, is he dialed in though? Man, just something. I'm impressed with that, and I have great respect for it.
Yeah, the last question I think you asked him, do you ever write down a little bit what you wanted to accomplish your first year as a coach? And he says, no, I'm not that kind of guy, because it's hard to make those plans ahead of time, but you're exactly where you want to be. You took a football team that had a losing record last year. Right now, you're the number 2 seed and you're in the playoffs. I mean, what the heck?
Playoffs?
Well, I mean, it's amazing what he's been able to accomplish. But, he's not, there's only one way he's going to be satisfied. And we don't have to say it because it's the same that rings true for every NFL fan, coach, or player.
Left guard Joe Thuney had a quote yesterday in the locker room. Just focus on the day and what you can do to prepare. Do that every day until we get to the game. That's to kind of simplify the magnitude of the week and the preparation, albeit a short week, for a guy who's about to play his 22nd playoff game in his life. It's great advice, Tom. Do you agree with how he frames that for everybody else on this roster?
1,000%. When you look at the rookie class, they're still learning how to play professional football. When you look at a veteran as experienced as Joe Thuney, you've been preparing for this for your whole career, and you know exactly how to go about your business day in and day out, because every day is not the same. When you start the preparation week, and so you're playing on Saturday, Tuesday, you're going to install some specific portions of your offense and defense. Wednesday, you're going to install some specific parts of your offense and defense. Thursday, you're going to do the same. Friday, you're just going to sharpen everything. Then Saturday, you're going to go out there and play like heck. So there's specific details every single day in the installation of a game plan that you have to pay attention to, and that's the only thing important for that day.
Score big at your local Chevy dealer. The Chevy Silverado will take you through this season in style. Chevy Drive Chicago, official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. I didn't know what he would say about the 59 plays over the last 3 weeks in the first half, because until you see it on paper and put your head to it, it's less than it's 20 plays a half in a game where you'd like to get 60, 70 plays overall. It has to feel handicapping a little bit, because do you get edgy about, okay, let's get the ball. I want to get into this playbook a little bit here, and because you're not able to set things up over the course of the game. It's not a normal flow when it's that much of a difference, right?
Yeah, but it's not only one-sided. If you only have 59 plays in 3 games of first half football, then you're putting a lot of pressure on the defense. In the last Green Bay game, you're really fortunate that as many red zone possessions as the Green Bay Packers had, they didn't score. That was your saving grace. Even this past week against the Detroit Lions, holding these guys to field goals, it gave you an opportunity to get back into the game. So now if you're that offense, like you said, I'd like to leave the first half with 35 to 40 plays. And, my goal would be to approach 80. It doesn't happen very often. But if this offense can complement with points, it gives your defense a chance to be more aggressive and maybe take a chance rather than sitting back and playing a style of preventative defense rather than an attacking defense.
Well, that being said, like he said, and I think it shouldn't be lost on anybody, even though they gave up a lot of yards are yards, but points are more important, and they only let that team, an explosive team, score 19 points, 1 touchdown, and you had a chance to win that game if things would have fallen right. But that's where he's going to focus. Hey, I believe in my offense that I could score a lot more points than we've been scoring. So defense, if you keep us in that range, we're going to be okay.
I think if you take every single coming out of the locker room halftime interview with our sideline guy, Jason McKee, and Jason asks him the question, and he comes out boldly with a lot of confidence. We're all right. We just got to score in this drive and we'll get things, taken care of. And it's kind of like I believe you. And you don't really have to say anything in a long-winded, paragraph answer. Just you believe it, I believe it.
How do you tell a cashier you're a Bears fan without telling them you're a Bears fan? With the Chicago Bears PNC Bank Visa debit card, which gets you exclusive discounts on Bears merchandise. Find out more at pnc.com/BearsCard. Doug Coletti called me last night while we were doing our TV show, and he called me 3 times. This is how important it was. I didn't realize it, and he didn't point it out either. Cairo Santos did not score a point yesterday. The first time in his entire career, in all 100 games with the Bears, at least an extra point because of the 2-point conversions. He did not score. First time in 160-some games of his career. That's rare.
Yeah, but Detroit didn't punt either, Jeff.
Well, no, they did. They punted twice.
They did?
Yeah. But
okay.
That being said,
yeah,
that's remarkable.
It's kind of funny. Now I do remember them. I didn't think they did. But, yeah, I think for the role that Cairo has played since he's been here and his contribution of points, and then – I don't know if you watched the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game last night, and you see how that affected the outcome of that game and the end result of a play, winning in type of a game. Cairo, it's unfortunate that he, didn't get an opportunity to get on the field, but they got 2-point conversions. So
yeah, and those
I'm
are
okay with that.
And those are great. Manungai, power with guys up front, and then Cole Kmet. I've gone back to watch that play. We saw it a ton on our TV show last night. I don't know how many times. It hurt every time I saw Cole get whacked, but he hung on to that football in the end zone. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, anticipation of offense, and that's the thing about it. As split quick as the decisions are made and that offensive player knows where that ball is going to go to, Cole's able to catch it in his hands and control it. But you look at the difficulty of the touchdown catch by Colson Loveland. Good thing he had on white gloves because he was able to put him underneath the football, and he showed that there was no movement of the football, so there was no reason for replay. And so I think that was as important as Cole's catch, obviously.
So Theo Benedetto, who started 7 games earlier in the season before quad, had an opportunity to start against this team last night. Ozzie Trapillo out for this game. After you watched the tape, how did you feel he performed against, at times, a very dangerous Aiden Hutchinson, who was pulling out every move in his toolbox with spin moves and the speed rushes, washing down the line, unblocked a couple of times to hit DeAndre Swift. I mean, he played himself a very aggressive game at defensive. And as you might expect, he's their best defensive player.
And you play against Al-Quadin Muhammad, who's got a double-digit sacks if you're not playing against Hutchinson. I think Theo Benedetto did a really nice job against the run. He's physical. He's a good athlete. He understands that he's working together with a group of offensive linemen and tight ends, that they're all in this together, and they do play a physical brand of football. You look at where that Manungai 2-point conversion run went, and it was right at the left-hand side, so obviously they have confidence in his ability. Listen, whether you're a limited experience guy or you're the most experienced guy, playing against Aiden Hutchinson is a difficult job, especially when you're at home and he can start falling to the rhythm. I'm hearing the cadence, and then he has a good get off, just like you have a good get off out of your stance. It's difficult. I'm sure there are some pass blocking opportunities he'd like to have back, but he was able to get through. It wasn't a horrific scene, but Aiden is a good football player that is going to ultimately make Theo Benedette a better football player because he had the experience to play against guys like that.
I appreciate the energy and the style he plays with, Hutchinson, man. He can eat up grass quickly with any kind of cushion or any kind of movement, hands racing the edge. He gets to where he needs to go in a big damn hurry.
I think, that inside spin move. So
Deadly.
Throughout the course of my career, you got Bruce Smith, you got Dwight Freeney, you got Robert Mathis, and you got Aiden Hutchinson. The reason that everybody doesn't use that move is it's a really difficult athleticism move. You got to be able to spin quickly, keep your balance, and still moving in the direction of the quarterback. There is no hesitation to that move, else you're blocked and beat. And that's why I say it's not a move that we see out there week in and week out, and it's frequently used. You got to be good at it. And I remember when Khalil Mack was here, and I saw him use it in a game, and I saw him use it in practice, and I asked him, why don't you use that more often? Because you're really good at it. And he just said, it's not something I think about that often. There's a lot of time I have to have outside shoulder contained. And a lot of time that's when you have the luxury of moving to the inside of whichever blocker you're going against. And so throughout my career, I've seen guys that are good at it, but it's not something that everybody's good at it.
Good news, Chicago. United Airlines is getting brand new planes with all the bells and whistles like Bluetooth connectivity, screens at every seat, and room for everyone's roller bag. United, proud to fly the Chicago Bears, and you too. A bunch of statistical stuff now that the regular season is over and the hay's in the barn in that regard. Found this stat. This company put out the total passing yards of every route run in the National Football League by category, and what quarterback led in each of those. Caleb Williams was the number one post-pattern quarterback with 580 yards. That speaks to play action from under center and working the deep middle of the field with guys like Loveland and Burden, and all those guys work in the middle of the field between the hash marks. Would you say that's a fair representation?
Yeah, I do. I just think we got such a small sample size in Ben's first year here with Caleb's second year in the NFL, and just becoming familiar. But when you talk about Burden, you talk about Colston Loveland, you talk about a DJ Moore, all those guys are capable of catching that along with Roman Dunze. So I like to see that route being run with more frequency if he's successful at it. But you have to have the contribution of the proper length of pass protection to allow your receiver to get in that position to make that throw. And I think though Caleb is really good at those vertical type of throws. And if you like it, keep using it.
And Luther Burden finished fourth in the NFL among all receivers with a catch rate of 78.6. If you get to 70, you're really good. He's almost at 80 this year. So he had himself a year, man. Quietly had himself a year as a rookie receiver.
He sure did. I mean, he developed a quick relationship with Caleb and, fought an uphill battle when you're going against DJ and you're going against Devin Duvernay and Zacchaeus and all the other guys that they have at the wide receiver position, including Janae Walker. But he was enough of a positive influence about his practice production that Ben was feeding him opportunities, and he capitalized on it, and he showed us all what a difficult tackle he is.
Colston Loveland from week 9 on led all tight ends in receiving yards and tied for the touchdown lead with 6 with Harold Fannin, second in yards per route run. Also flashing his athleticism all over the place. Even watching him cover some ground in the run game as a blocker, he gets there quick. I mean, he can move. He can move and get to his spot.
They had a couple of significant injuries at the tight end position around the league. And then you look at some of the young guys. You look at Fannin, you look at Brock Bauer for the Las Vegas Raiders, and now you look at Colston Loveland, obviously Cole Kmet. It's a really heavy-duty, talented position right now that I think has a major influence and allowing your offense to be whatever style you want to be.
Heck, I think I called that touchdown drive the Loveland Komet drive. There were others involved, but that was a heck of a drive to tie that game up.
It was. Listen, man, that 19-yard catch by Cole Kmet, because first of all, he depleted Aiden Hutchinson by helping the left tackle, and then came all the way to the right-hand side, made a big catch, and had a 19-yard connection from it.
All right, fun fact. Playoff teams that lose the regular season finale are 22-5 in home playoff openers since 2011. A record of 22-5. So what do you think?
I try not to. I don't know, man. It's something I would never know unless you read that to me. I just think about the Chicago Bears playing the Green Bay Packers, what they need to do to make improvements from the last game, and how they can finish it off a little quicker than overtime. And if it comes to overtime and they win it, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, getting that run game cranked up, in my opinion, and stopping what they were doing with Emmanuel Wilson and or Jacobs. I don't know how healthy Jacobs is for this matchup. I know the Packers arrested a bunch of people in their finale against Minnesota. Jordan Love says he was ready a couple weeks ago, so he's been eyeballing the Bears' defensive scheme over here the last couple weeks, some advanced preparation, and I think it's going to be, Ben said, two evenly matched teams in his opinion that are going to go for it here, and it's going to be great theater, man. Great theater, going to be a great environment at Soldier Field.
It may be one of the greatest Chicago Bear Green Bay Packers game ever to witness. You think of the importance of it. You think of where the NFL is right now, the creativity of a couple of head coaches that run efficient offenses, two quarterbacks that can really do it all, and two defenses that have to be at the top of their game in order to limit the success of each opponent's offenses.
Hey, Bears fans, Steinhoffels is a proud partner of the Chicago Bears. This Bears season, Steinhoffels is partnering with Special Spaces Illinois to create dream bedrooms for children battling cancer. For every false start caused by the Bears defense during a home game, Steinhoffels donates $1,000 to Special Spaces Illinois. Shop in-store and online at steinhoffels.com. All right, when we regather this week, we'll give you in episode 202 more of a detailed, in-depth discussion about the Bears and Green Bay Packers. So Tom will be able to break things down a little more in detail and see what might work, what might not. One thing, every phase is going to have to contribute to this one. That's no-brainer. Come playoff time, brace yourself for just about anything and try to limit your mistakes. That's
always the case in playoff football because the intensity is at an all-time high. And if you're each playing against each of these defense, they're going to be as physical as they have been all season long. So, and if there's any tricks that Ben has had up his sleeve, I don't know, maybe they'll come out and maybe we'll see it. We had another Daniel Hardy play. So you never know what's going to go on.
That'll do it for us. Thanks to head coach Ben Johnson. For Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. Thanks for listening, everybody. Please subscribe now on the Chicago Bears official app, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Bear down, everybody.